Hey yo, welcome to my channel. I'm back as you saw, so I'll be posting more and more. Hopefully not violating any of the guidelines, YouTube's guideline that is. So one thing I forgot to basically talk about, which I never got a chance to, due to constraints and all that stuff, and plus all these other videos that I had in place that are going in. One of the big ones I got lost in the mixed is Damian Lillard is traded from the Portland Trail Blazers to the Milwaukee Bucks. So he's joining the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. I can never pronounce his name. I'm sorry about that. Apologies on that part. But this seems like the right move for Milwaukee and for Giannis. Does this make him truly the true favorite to come out of the East and go to the finals in 2024? Time will tell. But Lillard being, a really damn good, guard, basically, can either be that complementary person to Giannis or vice versa, basically. But you got someone that's on the inside and outside, as well as a man that can sharpshoot from the outside, wherever he's at, and as well as drive in. So between these two, that should be an interesting factor, basically, because let's put it honestly. Let's be blunt. Let's be blunt. To win the NBA championship, you could have one superstar, but you need an all-star, another superstar, or at least an all-star, or just also just on the cusp of being a superstar to win nowadays. And it's true. Let's think about it for a second. With Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. I mean, Bird had McHale and Parrish. Magic basically had Kareem for a while there, and then Kareem and Jabbar for a while there, and then eventually he had Worthy and Scott for a while, and then of course Jordan having Scottie Pippen. I think Giannis was able to do this on his own, which is very, very rare when he won the championship. That was very rare that a superstar was able to do it on his own. I mean, Elijah won as well too for the first time. He was able to do it on his own. Of course, the second time around, basically he had Drexler with them. And it was great for them. Unfortunately, it was sad that Charles Barkley wasn't able to get to that level, basically, at that point, and get that championship. Similarly, Carmelo in a ways. I mean, though I think he got it with maybe with the Lakers in 2020. I can't remember. No, he retired before that. So Peyton did. But anyways, so it kind of sucked for that aspect for them. But it's one of those things where nowadays that's what it is. And you can't have just one superstar that gets you to that level, into the championships, unfortunately. I mean, Jordan tried to do it on his own, but he couldn't. You saw that he needed a Pippen. So that's one of the things where you need that situation. And so this one could be a case where Giannis and Damian could, for the next 3 years at least, for sure, could, definitely get him into the conference finals for sure. Can they get into the NBA finals? I don't know. It's a hard decision to make, a hard factor to determine that, because let's not forget the Boston Celtics. They have Tatum and Brown. So honestly, those two alone, and probably the fact that they could get maybe another all-star in there, will get them into that, to get to that level at that point as well. And then of course you've got the Philadelphia 76ers as well too. I mean, chances are they might trade Harden too, but honestly I think the 76ers with Embiid, they might get someone else in play as well too to help them out in that situation. But outside of that, I mean, Butler didn't make sense to a certain extent, but without Butler alone, can't do it on his own. I mean, he did show that you can get to the finals, but you can't get to it on your own basically at that point. So with it, I think if Butler were to get someone else, someone not a shooting guard, but a point guard or a small forward or power forward for that matter, I think he'll definitely elevate them. The Knicks, unfortunately, as a Knicks fan, I have to say is Brunson is not that superstar. Brunson is an all-star, definitely for sure, but he's not a superstar, not like a Luka. And it's one of those things where it would be great with Brunson. There's talk about Drew Holiday coming in, and the Knicks probably potentially trading for him. Fits perfectly well in Tibbs's system. Basically, he's a perfect defenseman, but also that sharpshooter that he needs as well too. Fits perfectly. But the problem is, what would the Knicks have to give up? Definitely their draft picks. I don't know if they should do that. And of course, RJ Barrett. I mean, there's no way. Any superstar that the Knicks try to trade for, Barrett's going to have to be included. The real question is, should they trade Barrett? I think you're seeing more and more like how Barrett is, his skills are now. Because I mean, I think he could improve a little bit more, of course, but I don't know if he fits under Tibbs' system, unfortunately. Because think about it this way: Barrett proved in the World Championships or the World League how well Canada did with him. Basically, it shows how good he is. So I think if he can work on his defense a little bit more, just a little bit more, he might be able to help the Knicks a little bit in the long term at that point as well too. Zion, is he at that superstar level? I mean, it does show it, but at the same time, it's more and more looking like he's going to look like Glenn Baby Robinson, basically. That's one of those, like, for the short term, yeah, but the long term, not so good. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But like I said, this trade with Damian Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis having Damian Lillard on his team, I don't think this will stop the Bucks entirely just yet. I think they're going to probably make one more trade for someone. They're going to need another player, just another complementary player to those two, basically, to get them to that next level, basically, get them to that finals at that point. Because when the Bucks were beaten by the Heat, I think it proves that there was some deficiencies that they had, specifically defensively speaking, as well in this situation. And I think they need that defensive player to hold off Butler. Lillard can do only so much, but I think Butler would take him out, and that exposed Milwaukee's weakness, and that's why I think I don't think that's gonna stop them just yet. I think they're gonna make a couple more trades for some defensive players and some rebounders for sure, because we saw that their rebounding was atrocious, and I think that's what they need mostly is some rebounders. Look for them to probably get a sort of Dennis Rodman type person, basically, or Charles Oakley type person into their team, or a Meta World Peace or Ron Artest in this case, such person. They get that. I think that brings them up even higher at that point. That definitely gets them to definitely the conference finals for sure. The question is, will this trade by gaining Lillard get them into the conference finals? For sure, it'll definitely get them above at least getting past the first round and second round for sure. The question is, will it get it past the conference finals? That's a different story, because I think right now the team to beat still is the Boston Celtics. They're the top teams right now. They're the top team in the Eastern Conference, unfortunately, until something changes dramatically. I mean, this does, Milwaukee getting Lillard did change the shift back to the Eastern Conference a little bit. But at the same time, Lillard is getting up there. He is up there in his age. I mean, he could probably last maybe another 2 years at best. You could probably eke out maybe a third year out of him, but that's it. And so this is why I think the Knicks, this is their high time to basically trade for some players, maybe a superstar or two. Try to see if they can get some draft picks, like number one draft, unrestricted draft, free first round draft picks, if they can get that around two. I mean, honestly, the thing is, those restricted first round draft picks that they have, I think that's going to go to waste right now. I think they need to make those trades and trade them off and use them as trade collateral, because or trade capital, basically. Because honestly, I don't think the Knicks should trade their own first round picks unless they can make it a protected first round picks. I think the Knicks have that, a few of those that are not going to work out in the long term, I think, honestly, because the way things are working out, the teams that they traded for, it's not going to help out in the long run. I hate to say this, but I don't know if Tibbs is the right coach for the Knicks. I mean, he's definitely brought the respectability back to him, but I think they're missing or they're lacking of a coach that sort of is reminiscent of like the Phil Jacksons, the Pat Riley's, being more offensive, but also adding the defensive layer at that point as well too. Because remember, offense, with a great offense comes a strong defense. Because if you have a strong defense, you can always keep a team down. You could always keep your team in the game. Because let's put it bluntly, offensively speaking, sometimes you'll have a lot of off nights. A lot of players will have a lot of off nights, and they won't be getting the buckets in. But if you can keep a team under 60 points, you're in it at that point as well too. Because all you gotta do is then just do the bases and like dunking it in quick dunks basically instead of shooting outside. You get inside dunking a little bit. Let's put it that way: layups, quick fast breaks, quick dunks. That gives you a minimum of 50 points right there. Let's be honest. It's if you do the statistical math, you'll see it there basically at this point. So this is why I think the Knicks might need to move away from Tibbs to get the best out of R.J. Barrett. Brunson, I think, is already good. If they get a Drew Holiday in place, it would be great if they had Drew Holiday, Brunson, as well as Barrett. But without trading Barrett for Drew Holiday, I think, because Barrett will be that person that will help you to get to the next level. With that, I'll just leave it at that. There's not much more I can say about this, unfortunately. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be the ones that are going to go to the finals? Are they the new team to beat? Are they the team to beat, or is it still the Boston Celtics? Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I do read my comments. I read all my comments when I get notified, that is. And I do respond to them as well, too, when they warrant a response. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and, of course, unrehearsed. Until next time.